Hi, I'm Steve McCord, Cattaraugus County Director of Veteran Services, and this is Our Veterans, Their Stories, preserving our heroes' stories, one story at a time.
I was in the U.S. Air Force from 1965 to 1969. I was a carpenter and was stationed at McConnell Air Force Base when I got out of basic. And I spent about 3 years there. And my main job out there was I went out to the missile sites. We had 18 missile sites at McConnell Air Force Base. And I went out there and we did PM on them, which is preventive maintenance, which is we did carpenter work, plumbing, electrical, anything that was wrong, we went out and fixed and stuff. They were all underground. All you did was you'd be driving along a road and you'd see this big fenced-in area, and you just had a little roadway up to it, and there was nothing but a little shanty out kind of in one part of it. And you went up to a gate and you had to get out and give a password, and the gate opened, and you had like 30 seconds to get from that gate to the shed, which was another entrance point. And then you had to give another password to get down inside. And once you got inside there, you had to go down through, you went down about 3 flights of stairs, and there was another gate. And you had to give another password to get in there. And that opened, and after you got through that, then you come to a big concrete wall, and a big, like a 6-foot diameter concrete door would open. It was about 16 inches thick. And you went in there, and it was like a tunnel, and you went in there, and that one closed, and then you pushed a button, and the inner one opened, and you walked in there, and you were in the control room for the missile site. They were all armed missiles, Titan II missiles, so it was a very secure site. We had 18 of them in any place from 20 miles to 100 miles away from the base. We went to Eglin Air Force Base in Florida for 2 months training out in the swamps. That was a lot of fun. But learned how to dig latrine trenches and other stuff like that. But, played war games and stuff. And then we boarded there was 300 of us, and we boarded a C-141 transport plane, and we went from there to Anchorage, Alaska, and from there to Okinawa. And then we were supposed to land at Benoit at night. But when we got there, we couldn't land because they were under mortar attack. And as we flew around the pilot bank so we could see the flashes of the mortar when they hit the base. So we had to go to Saigon. We landed at Tan Son Nhut Air Base. And then about 2 days later, they transported us by truck up to Benoit. Well, it was hot. It was really entirely different from the United States, just no paved roads, everything was dirt and dusty and very humid. You could tell you weren't in the United States anymore. The Tet Offensive, it started on January 1st of '68. And it was the North Vietnamese biggest offensive attack on South Vietnam that they ever did. And it lasted 3 to 4 days before the United States and its allies finally pushed them back and got control of their bases and stuff. I know at our base on Benoit, they did breach the perimeter of it, and they did get on our base. And while we were there at our bunkers and stuff, you could hear the gunfire, and at night you could see puff coming over the base and flying by, and I don't know if you ever seen Puff in action. It's a C-20. Well, ours were C-23s, and they put 3 machine guns in the one side window, and they just banked, and all you could see is 3 red flashes going down to the ground, and it just burp, burp, and every in between them red flashes there was 5 bullets in between every red flash, so you could see how much firepower, you know, that they were putting out. And it was really, you know, it was kind of scary knowing, you know, that our barracks and stuff, our area, bivouac area and stuff, was right next to the fence, the outer perimeter. So they were probably within 100, 200 yards of overrunning us, but they did push them back and stuff. So it was a pretty scary time. Well, never talked to them or anything. Wrote letters to my mom and stuff, but that was about it. And my wife and stuff. We weren't married yet, but we wrote letters and stuff. Oh, it wasn't too bad. It was probably 10 days or so, and from the time they sent a letter to it got to me, it was around 10 days, so it wasn't too bad. We had a bar right there in our squadron. We had a bar, so a lot of times we went there. They did finally start up while I was over there, we built a NCO club, so you could go there also. But there wasn't much to do. We couldn't go downtown. Downtown Benoit was off limits and stuff. So. I don't really like to think about that. I know we flew back into the States and landed at Cattaraugus Air Force Base, which is just outside of San Francisco. And we mustered out there, and we were all in uniforms and stuff. So we went to the airport in San Francisco, and they were having a big anti-Vietnam War rally when we got there. And we were spit at and called all sorts of names and stuff. And that was probably my biggest disappointment in the United States, that people would, you know, we were over there, we thought, you know, doing what we thought was right. And I was really disappointed to come home and you know, I didn't feel it was right for them people to treat us like that. Oh, that was fine. That was, the people were here in Little Valley and stuff. They were really good. So yeah, they were fine. Well, it was a big adjustment. I mean, you know, I was out of the service then, so I had my muster out pay and stuff, so I had plenty of money. So spent a lot of time carousing, I guess you would call it. You know, and one time I thought I was broke, and then I found a couple more $100, so I was able to stay out of work for another couple of weeks. So before I had to go and find a job and stuff, but. I will say one of the funniest things that happened to me, or weirdest, I guess, was I'd been home 2 or 3 days, I guess, and it was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was upstairs sleeping and stuff, and all of a sudden the fire whistle went off. Well, when that went off, man, I jumped out of bed and I come running down the stairs, and I was out the door and standing out in the middle of 7th Street in my underwear, wondering what the hell's going on. Because, you know, I was thinking we were under attack and stuff. It was still ingrained in me to get the hell out, you know. And my mother come out, what are you doing out here, you know. So she was, you know, it kind of amazed her that I was, you know, that still affected me that way. So.